Hi, welcome to my channel Learning with Boys. Today I want to talk about all things history and social studies. Hi, if you're new here, I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys ages 10 to 19. Right now I'm homeschooling my 4th grader, my 9th grader, and my senior. If you have been watching any of my homeschool videos, you know that this year we are using the curriculum Heart of Dakota. But I want to share a few things with you other than Heart of Dakota, because we have not always used it, or we have used it in different stages. So I want to share some different things, and I'm going to actually start out with elementary this time and work my way up through high school, American history, economics, government, that type of stuff. So I'm going to start from the very beginning, and that is when I started homeschooling, and that is when my oldest was in 1st grade, and we were just using Abeka everything that year, and yes, history and science, and I cannot tell you that I remember a lot about it. I think at that age it's just, they're very small books. I remember maybe sitting down in the room by the bed and reading to them. And then in 2nd grade he did it again. By then I felt like I had been introduced to a lot of different curriculum. I was very open-minded when I started Abeka. That was the only thing I knew, so that is where we started. But I discovered that there is a lot more out there. If Abeka works for your family, that is wonderful. It's just, for us, I felt like I wanted something more in bringing my family together and homeschooling them with my boys. So at that time, I would have had a 3rd grader, a 1st grader, and he wouldn't even have been K4 that year. He is a little bit older because of his birthday. Of course, I didn't really start him until kindergarten. But so that year, a friend of mine had Mystery of History, and she let me borrow it. I sort of got the idea that I would like to start history from the beginning. I really wanted my boys to have a solid foundation in the creation, and that this was God's story. So that drew my attention, was the Mystery of History, and we used the Creation of Christ, I think is what they call it. It has been a long time. But I do want to tell you what I do remember, and I'll post a little picture right here of what it is. When we did Mystery of History, I wish I could give you more detail about what is in the curriculum, and I know it has changed. I feel like when you look online, you can actually see a lot more pictures than you used to and get a lot more information than you used to. But for me, we kept notebooks, and I think we may have got their CD that you could print stuff off, like pictures or a notebook. And so that is what we did, and we made the notebooks, and a lot of times I would print extra off. Like, I think I used notebookpages.com. I could be wrong about that. And we would print off notebook pages about whatever we were talking about. And everything I'm about to mention, I'm not sure if it was in there or not, but we grabbed a lot of books from the library to emphasize what we may have been talking about. Like, these are some things that I already probably had. Ancient Egypt, a coloring book for Ancient Egypt. And I have some of these other books with Greece and Rome. And I actually have a coloring book in Rome. And I know I've got rid of a lot of the smaller books. That's Mummy. I mean, and this one, I mean, a lot of them you can get at the library. So we did a lot of that year. We did, so a lot of the notebooking pages and books to go along with it. And we also would do some of the crafts, like we did the Stonehenge, whatever the craft was of making that with the rocks and different things, and just sort of making it like in a pan, I think it was. So we would do different things that made it enjoyable and hands-on, and everyone could be involved, even my 3, probably almost 4-year-old at the time. So that is where we sort of stepped away from the traditional and started more of a, I want to say maybe Charlotte Mason, eclectic type homeschooling with our history. Now the next year, I think I discovered Beautiful Feet. I know I'm jumping around a lot. And it might have been the year after that, because I'm going to tell you what I remember. I remember doing a lot of lap books. And if And if all of this stuff wasn't packed away in containers underneath our stairs, I would pull them out for you to look at. But we did a lot of lap books. Like I remember doing a whole study on the knights and all that I actually printed out. I know I did a lot of the homeschooling with history. I would do a lot of research and print off a lot of things that I thought my boys at that young age would be interested in. We would get books from the library. We would talk about different things. Maybe we would watch a little show like a Robin Hood or something. So I know we did that, and I don't know if it correlated with the curriculum, because I know it would not have gone with Mystery of History. And what we used after that was Beautiful Feet, Early American History. And we also, with that, with Beautiful Feet, there are living books. So we did enjoy that. We made notebooks again. We added pages. We would do copywork. Of course, the older ones would do a little bit more than the younger ones. But I just, they would sit, they would listen while I read. And so my oldest would have been 4th grade, 5th grade. And for example, with the lap books, I remember using this book. And and that, wish I had that one out because I love them. They had so much fun, and it just had a front cover page, and then it had all kinds of notebook pages, and you could copy right out of here. And they all made their own, even my youngest. So we really enjoyed stopping and spending some time on that. I had some other resources, and so a lot of it was me taking the time. It wasn't always the curriculum. So I do want to share that with you. And I know things are so busy, I feel like, for everybody. I don't know, it's just the way the world is. So everybody's looking for a curriculum where it's all right there. But sometimes when they're younger, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, just coming up with lap books or a unit study, some books from the library, can be really fun. And this is actually from Evan Moore. Now I know I used to have one that was like an Egyptian one, and I think I had a couple extra. I can't remember. This is the only one I still have. And this might be an option because, it actually has information about like the battles, and then some different lap book pages for different battles. So we really enjoyed this. And you can pick and choose. Like, you don't have to do them all. You might be like, oh, that's a little overwhelming. Well, just pick a couple things out of it that you would like to do. So I wanted to share some of that with you. So we finished off with Beautiful Feet, Early American History, and we started going in to more, I think it ended like right at the Civil War. So we stopped. I didn't use a curriculum. I just grabbed books, and wherever I could grab information, whether it be printed off, a lot of living books. And that was the year I was expecting my 4th. So my oldest would have been in 5th grade, and he was born in April. December came around, and this mama was pretty exhausted, where I ended up using BJU online for history and science for my 5th grader. I really prayed about it, and come to find out my iron was low. It's a long story. It's nothing to do with history, but I was pretty exhausted and didn't understand why. So it all worked out because he had such a fun year with that history, because it really actually begun where we were ending. And I think I really prayed about it. I just feel like the Lord answered that. He enjoyed that year with history. That was 5th grade. So sometimes you just have to do what works for you. And he enjoyed that. And then in 6th grade is when I was really researching things out. I almost went with sunlight. Had already done all the research, looked up the books, because I really was enjoying living books. I was looking for a curriculum that did it for me. I was at that point. So from a friend, I was telling her I had some questions about sunlight. Some of the books were questionable to me. Maybe not everybody, and that's fine. Every family's different. She said, you should look into Heart of Dakota. Never heard of it. I looked it up. They sent me a catalog. And I think I just fell in love with it. I was looking at all the books. I talked to another homeschool mom. I said, you're more familiar with all these books, because she had older kids and I know they read. I said, what do you think? And she said, what I can tell from it looks really good. So I did not know anybody who used that. And I will tell you, I did not have social media to get on and say, hey, what about this curriculum? I didn't know. I was really just praying and asking the Lord to guide and direct. And I mean, I did look at some blogs, looked up some reviews. So I did the preparing. That was the first year he was going into 6th. And again, my 4th grader did it. I did the extensions with my 6th grader. And my little guy, I think I was doing 1st grade. I was doing My Father's World, but I was not doing the history part. Like, I was doing some of the Bible, but it correlated really well actually with preparing. So I think I started it, but I really just let him follow along with us and do some of the activities and listen to the books. I was more worried about his reading, writing, and arithmetic in 1st grade. So that was really such a blessing that year. It really was such a good year for us, which I'm thankful the Lord gave that to me, because after that, my oldest went into 7th and 8th and high school. It happens so quickly. And he really became more independent after that. 7th grade, he did, 7th and 8th, he did a Heart of Dakota on his own. So wanted to share all that history with you. For my 3rd one coming up, we used different things again. I actually did the Beautiful Feet Early American History with him. They had a new teacher's manual and a few new books out, and that was actually went really well. So I did that with him by himself. I have older kids and you're wondering, what do I do with my younger child? He was doing Beautiful Feet and some books, so I did have to stop with him, and we read and we talked, and I feel like that went really well. We tried to do like a BJ, anytime I try to do a traditional history, like I think we just tried to use the BJU book. I don't remember. I think maybe it was either 2nd or 3rd grade. It's not a lot. I didn't sit there and make him do it, the tests and all that stuff. It was more we just read it for the information of it, for history, just to learn. But and then once we got him started in preparing, I usually start Heart of Dakota with Preparing Hearts for His Glory. For me, I just didn't want to stress about trying to figure out which of the younger Heart of Dakota books to use. And I was sort of in a flow with all the like math and science and language arts. I already knew what I was doing for all of those in those younger years. And if you want, you can go back and look at my science for elementary and things that I did for that age, for elementary ages. And I also think I have something that I do for like phonics and reading and language arts for the younger kids too. So you can check those out. And I will go ahead and say right now, if you like this type of content, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That would encourage me so much. So I think that is mainly what I did for elementary. And of course, middle school ended up being Heart of Dakota. I don't think I used anything else for my boys. I'm wrong. My 2nd one, his 8th grade year, did not actually use the guide, but he read all the books. That was just his personality. That worked better for us that year. My 3rd one in 8th grade, I think I wanted to try to do something with my younger one, which would have been in 3rd, because that was last year. We tried Notgrass, and there again, I feel like it's a little bit of a traditional book. We tried the Uncle Sam. I really wanted to love it. I really wanted to like it. There was some good things about it. There really was. Actually, what we enjoyed most about it was the living books they chose. There was one about Lincoln's photography of his life. Oh, that was so good. So we enjoyed those, but we didn't even finish it. I want to love Notgrass. I think the people that write the books are wonderful. It's just not a curriculum that will work for our family. And I keep looking at it and thinking, oh, it looks so pretty, but I know now, no. So, but that is what we used, I'm thinking, for middle school, Heart of Dakota, and then we tried that Notgrass one time. So in ninth grade for high school, for history, social studies, we've always used Heart of Dakota World Geography. Okay, for 10th grade, in our state, all we need is like a world geography, world history, 1 credit, and we need American history, and then we need a government and an economics for history, social studies. So for my 2 oldest, we used All American History. This is the 2nd book. I think I have got rid of the 1st book. And they have a teacher's guide. They have they have a book about this size, that is the student notebook pages, which I also ordered. My oldest son did this very well. Now I will tell you, in Heart of Dakota for 8th grade, this is used. My 2nd son really didn't use it, so it was pretty new to him. My oldest son, I don't think it starts first thing. And I really wanted him to look at the 1st book, and I think it starts out with Civil War, so he did not go through all that in this book. I don't remember where they started. So I thought it'll be okay. We'll do this. For American history, they have like a president study. They have some geography in the student pages. For my oldest, it actually, I think it went really well for him. He did fine with it. So that is what we did. And then for my 2nd one, he also did this one. I can't say he did all the notebook pages, probably like he probably should have. They also have tests. That is what we used for U.S. history for high school. For government, my oldest actually used the Notgrass, which I said didn't usually work, but this actually went well. So I'm stepping back in what I said. This actually went well for my oldest. It was a little bit of a challenge, and this is definitely an older book. I think I got it off eBay, like the whole set, which comes with, they usually come with an extra book and exams and all that stuff. So I cannot remember if there's like living books or like he just did the government, like if there was any extra stuff in there. He did not do that. It was a good choice for him. So I wanted to mention this for him for government, and I will show you what I did for my 2nd son for government and sort of explain some things. We did, there was another book he read, and I really, tell you the truth, I'm not sure which one it was. I had him read 2 books, and this was the 2nd one, A Blue Stock, Whatever Happened to Justice. And these are only half credits for history, government. We actually were able to take a class that had to do with history, more of the early governing of our history. So I felt like it really, we still talk about it. So I feel like that had a huge impact on him, and I feel like I counted it towards his government credit, and it worked out great for that. And for economics, they both used, this is from Compass Classroom, and it's just a DVD that you watch, and then the book, which is pretty much what they talk about on the DVD, and then questions to answer. It was good, but I felt like it could be more. So I sort of questioned whether it was a full half credit, but we counted it as a half credit. And I also had them read 6 Days in October, the Stock Market Crash of 1929. And I know my oldest son, I remember him reading that and him really telling me a lot about it. And I thought, I need to read that book, and I still haven't. But so they, with the economics, read this book, and it's an old copy with 6 Days in October, and it is part of the Heart of Dakota reading, probably for U.S. history, but I felt like it went well with that subject. So I think that is it. I'm not going to show you all of the Heart of Dakota curriculum that we've used over the years. You can probably, I will link my video about that with the different subjects for middle school and the high school, and this year is the first year my 10th grader, and you can watch the 10th grade video that we will be using the American history for high school. So I'm excited about that. He really wanted a little bit more, and I hopefully this will be something he likes. And another reason I did pick it is I found the main spine for that on audio. So, and that's sort of how it works for him pretty well, is if he can listen to audio and follow along. So I hope this was helpful to somebody and giving you some ideas about what you can do, whether you want to come up with some ideas of your own and researching things out, printing stuff off. There's so much free stuff on the internet that you can print off. And I know there's a lot of new curriculum out there. It really just depends on what works best for your family. I do really believe that with the younger kids, just a lot of living books is really helpful and encouraging to them. I think they'll remember it more. I know they can do the whole memorization thing. I have not done that. We never memorized anything, I don't think, for history. And I don't feel like I sit around and worry about that and regret that. Now, I have had thoughts about it, but because we've done history in order so many times, they have a good sense of what happened when, and I think they actually remember a little bit more. My oldest son was good at numbers. Like, he would remember, because he did a president study, which president was when and what was going on. So I don't know if it's always necessary to take the energy on memorizing, or maybe just taking the energy and really learning about that time of history. So I don't know if that helps anybody decide, but I appreciate you all watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.